Hari Om Tat Sat. Who's got good handwriting? You got? You're an artist, you must have.
But I don't know this artist. You stand to the side and write like a teacher.
You can write on the top half the three pairs of lightning exchanges.
3 tiers.
Pairs.
Here.
Pairs, like a pair of shoes.
Oh, pairs. Of loving exchanges.
You don't have to write that. Just write the loving exchanges. I said Dinati Pratigrinati.
3 pairs.
No, right first is giving something and receiving something.
Oh.
Giving something to eat and receiving something to eat. Opening your mind, sharing your mind, and receiving the other person's mind. They're sometimes known as the 6 loving exchanges. It's 3 pairs. Remember?
Reviewing your mind.
That's the last one. Food. One time, Lord Caitanya attended the Mangal Arti of Lord Jagannath in Puri. And he noticed that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, we have a Parivochak for a Russian. Was ist los? Oh, that's German. Как дела? No Parivochak. What's going on here? We had problems. Okay, Russians, get in your corner. Those who know English, give them some space there, yeah? Their language is Croatian, Serbian. Croat, Serbian. Something like that, Bosnian. So Lord Caitanya went to the nearby house of Sarvabhaumacharya. Ever been to his house? Have you been to the house of Sarvabhaumacharya? Jagannath Puri? Mukhi, you were there? Then you were there. So, his house is right next to Sweta Ganga. And it's just about a few minutes from the temple. In fact, he had a tunnel from his house to Jagannath temple. That'd be convenient to get to the Mangalarti. Little tunnel, skip all the, or any arti. So he had a special tunnel. But maybe there was lay preaching or some illness or something. But that day he didn't go. So Lord Caitanya came to his bedroom. And there he was lying down. So he got up, sat up when he saw Lord Caitanya. And Lord Caitanya said, "How are you?" Then he would say, "No, I am okay." Maybe he gave some reason. Then Lord Caitanya said that, "I brought you some Mahaprasadam." We have some Mahaprasadam from the Mangalarti of Jagannath. Would you like some? Then he gave in the hand of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya some of this, some cashew prasad. Cashew grows on sandy soil. And there's a lot of sand around Jagannath Puri. So there's a lot of cashews. Orissa is one of the cashew producing states of India. Also Kerala. Coastal regions are good for that. So immediately Sarvabhauma Acharya ate the cashews. The Lord Caitanya chastised him, questioned him. How is it you being a Brahmana, knowing the rules of cleanliness, ate cashews before you brushed your teeth? Was that right? How many think that was not right? You think it was not right? How How many think it was right? How many don't know? Some are rubbing their chins. So, then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he quoted a verse that says, whenever you get Jagannath Prasad or Mahaprasad of Krishna, there's no hard and fast rules. There's no time, place and circumstance. You must immediately respect, because Prasad is Krishna. And the way you serve Prasad is needed. Then Lord Chaitanya smiled. And he said, now you have transcended your smarta rules. Remember we discussed there's two kinds of Brahmins. One kind of Brahmin is like Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj. Vaishnava Brahmin. The other kind is Smarta Brahmin. Very rule conscious. They have their own rules. For them the rules are more important than the service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the Vaishnava Brahmins, pleasing the Supreme Lord is the most important factor. Not the rules for the rules' sake. So before, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya being a Mayavadi, he didn't care so much about pleasing the Supreme Lord. That wasn't his focus. He was rather fixed on just following the strict rules. One would say that just like even in the astrological, the calendars of India, Smarta Brahmins have one calendar and the Vaishnavas have another. There's different priorities. So there's always a little bit of conflict. In South India, the Vaishnava Brahmins in Tamil Nadu are called Iyengar, and the Smartas are called Iyer. Smartas, they used to not marry and intermarry, now they marry. So it's pretty opened up. But nobody follows the rules much anymore, so strictly as they used to. Anyway, I thought this was one interesting thing. The Lord Chaitanya, he gave food to Lord Chaitanya. So that's one of the 6 loving exchanges. What else happened? Any other loving exchange?
Thoughts. Thoughts. Mind.
They exchanged their opinions, their thoughts. How they did that?
Because he asked him, why are you eating the prasad? What's on your mind? Why did you eat it without following the rules?
And Jayapataka Bharacharya reciprocated and she opened his mind to the Lord. Then the Lord opened his mind, there was an exchange. I was testing you.
Prakashanand Saraswati offering his hand to Lord Chaitanya. Prakashanand Saraswati offering his hand to Lord Chaitanya. Prakashanand Saraswati once.
Let's stick to one Leela at a time. We're going to tear apart Leela by Leela. Otherwise we'll lose everybody. They may not know all the Leelas. Any other exchange?
In the beginning, when they met, they had the exchange of revealing the mind.
On this pastime. There's one more loving exchange. Nobody said there. Very obvious one.
Sorry about that.
Or was the gift? But that's anyway one of them. You can't see it? Sumukhi? Huh? No, didn't say that. Yes, they accepted the prasad. Giving and accepting. You said, no, I haven't brushed my teeth yet. Don't give me. But he accepted, then he ate it. I mean, firstly, fully accepted, he ate it. Sometimes you give people prasadam, they don't accept. You offer them, but they don't offer. I was mostly in the airlines, all the stewardesses, stewards, all the attendants, they all accept when I give them prasad. But one lady, I don't know, her name was Williams or James or something, and she said no. So, I don't always accept. The police always accept. Must be boring in the airport all the time, checking everybody's bags for 8-hour shifts. Thousands of people, it's so crowded now. Anyway, that's another topic. Let's see, what other pastime do we have? Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya also, he requested Lord Caitanya that he wanted to feed him. He wanted to cook for him every day. Also, Jayapataka, he wanted to cook him. So then Lord Caitanya had to make a system, giving everyone a certain, so how can I just eat at one house? So they had to take turns. Because the sannyasi is not generally supposed to cook for himself. Of course he can cook for the deities. So Lord Caitanya, every day he would accept prasad at a different Brahmin's house. How many of you would like to cook for Lord Caitanya? Even the people who don't know how to cook want to do it. So, I mean, giving food is also just a gift, but somehow it's got its own category. That means how important in our culture it is to offer food and to receive it. So the cooks have a very special service. We can exchange. The Lord Caitanya said there were 3 things that had a lot of power to awaken love of Krishna. Bhakta Pada Jal, Bhakta Pada Raj, Bhakta Prasade Uchista. The dust from the feet of the devotees, the water for washing the feet of the devotees, and the prasada remnants. Once, yesterday we had the disappearance day of Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And once Tamal Krishna Maharaj was given a gulab jamun. Prabhupada had a big plate. And he had gulabs, big gulab, soft, juicy ones. Everyone knows what a gulab jamun is? Anyone doesn't know? Those days they were called the ISKCON bullets. That's like more or less North Indian, right? South India they have gulab jamuns. Not even rasgulla. Not even sundaes.
Coconut sweets, some milk sweets, burfis.
Coconut sweet and burfi. So Prabhupada took right from his plate, from a bowl of hot gulab jamuns, took one and gave to Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Tamal Krishna Maharaj took and put it on his plate. He's looking, just thinking how fortunate I am. I got Prabhupada's Gulab Maha. I don't know what he was thinking, but he's just looking and looking and looking. Finally the devotee next to him couldn't resist. Just reached over and grabbed it. And ate it. And Tamal was just incredulous. Practically wanted to get him, He took my gulab. He took my gulab jamun. Prabhupada said, well, getting Mahaprasadam, there's no hard and fast rule. The rule was, right, what did Sarvabhaumacharya say? When you get it, take it right away. He didn't follow that rule. He lost his gulab. Prabhupada said, actually, getting Mahaprasad, there's no hard and fast rule. He said, he wouldn't even be an offense if you came and robbed my plate. But he said, but please don't. Let me finish my prasad. I remember one time Prabhupada was arriving from the West, and he was arriving in Boston. So that time I was either in Toronto or Boston or Montreal. I was in Canada. So he came down to receive Prabhupada. In those days there was just a few devotees in every temple. This was like maybe 1969. And we had maybe 150 devotees in the airport, which for those days was a lot of devotees. And everyone was chanting and dancing, and we were waiting for Prabhupada. Then they told us that Prabhupada's flight has landed. And Prabhupada was walking. There was a glass window, but it wasn't frosted over. Then there was these partitions. And you could see under the partition, and you can see, and then over you couldn't see. It was over their heads. But someone said, "Look at it." It was like these saffron shoes. You know, shh, shh. Prabhupada! Then all of a sudden, when we shouted Prabhupada, Prabhupada lifted his bead bag over the partition. Everybody went wild. In fact, one devotee was so ecstatic that he hit himself in the head with his kartals. And he was bleeding profusely, but he didn't feel anything. He was in such a state that he didn't know that he cut himself. And there was some newspaper man there, seeing the blood coming. But he wrote positively about it. He said there must have been a real ecstasy. Because who can be bleeding and then he's smiling, Prabhupada! It was too obvious that he was out of his body. He wasn't sensitive to what his body was feeling. And then Prabhupada came out, and as soon as he stepped out, boom, everybody hit the deck and paid prostrate right in the Boston airport. What's that called? I forget that airport name. Douglas or something, anyway. And then we did Guru Puja for Prabhupada right in the airport. And everybody had a big garland. So they came and offered Prabhupada a garland. It came just like a Vyas Puja, coming over his head. Then again they filled up, everyone came and gave a garland. He took it, and like the newspaper people watching, what's going on here? Television, newspaper. So Prabhupada must have felt a little self-conscious, because then he said that the Guru is a representative of God, because he's a dear servant of God. Therefore he's given respect like you give to God, just like an ambassador of God. But then he said, but if the Guru thinks he is God, then he's not God, he's the opposite. He's not G-O-D, he's D-O-G, dog. God, if you turn it around, becomes dog, right? G-O-D, D-O-G. So, like that. But I remember then we went back, but it was very snowing outside. It was snowing outside. The Indians don't know much what snow is, they just see in the newspapers. Malaysians never seen snow. Right? 3 degrees off the equator. Every day is 33 to 35 degrees. Nighttime 26, 27. But this was minus 10 centigrade maybe. So then we went and had another reception from Prabhupada at the temple, and Prabhupada gave a talk. So we gave Prabhupada flower garlands. And what did Prabhupada give us? Association. What about the nectar of Krishna? He gave us the nectar of Krishna consciousness, the priceless jewel of Krishna consciousness. That's also a gift, isn't it? To share your Krishna consciousness experiences, your realizations, your knowledge. It says that if someone teaches you anything about Krishna, even one syllable of the mantra or something, your soul have so much debt to that person that you can never pay it back, no matter how many material things you give. How many flower garlands equal one drop of Krishna Prema? Even millions of dollars. That just gets burned up with the karma. The little Krishna consciousness stays with you forever. But I remember that night, Prabhupada didn't stay at the temple. They drove him away. In fact, there was even a little bit of an accident, but we didn't know about that till later. The slippery road in the snow. We were all downstairs, and then Prabhupada drove off. Then I remembered, there's Prabhupada's Maha upstairs. And Prabhupada's Maha was something very special. So I ran upstairs and found that there was a Swami already picking out from the plate. So I went, and I also started taking some things from the plate. I think there's one other person came and was taking. All of a sudden the pujari came and walked in, expecting to get it all for himself maybe, I don't know. They said, "Oh, those are Prabhupada's plates! How can you take from his plate? We have to transfer."
We are.
We escape with our booty. I remember how getting Prabhupada's Mahaprasad, that was very special. Prabhupada, the first day I went to they saw Prabhupada in the night at the Bhagavad Gita class. And he asked, "Who is that?" There wasn't so many bhaktas, only 3 temples in Iskandar. And I was shaved up, the big sika. And they said he's Bhakta J from San Francisco. And then Prabhupada said he can have him come and take lunch with me tomorrow. So the second day he was giving me loving exchange. Filled me up with prasad. I was very skinny in those days. You see the pictures. I couldn't eat so much prasad. When you're brand new, you can't eat so much. It takes a while. And then we had an exchange. He asked me what I wanted to do, and told I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn Krishna consciousness, and I said maybe I was thinking I should go to India. He told me, "I'll send you to India later." But now I'll personally train you up. You stay here and I'll personally train you. Just like the first meeting, Prabhupada saw his Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he was told that you go to the West. My first meeting, I was told you go to India.
Wow.
But he was this sometimes Prabhupada would just open his mind and talk about his childhood. Or remember once he was talking, there was the Hindu-Muslim riots in Calcutta, and some Muslim protected him, and he couldn't understand, being just a child, why there was this difference. And he would share many things with us, but somehow he was protected by Krishna. So Prabhupada, he was also sometimes he would share things. And like somebody was saying that when I heard the tape yesterday, a few days ago, and Jadubara's tape, someone said Prabhupada, I think it was Shyam Sundar, Prabhupada was always unexpected, always a surprise, unpredictable. So it was true, because sometimes I'd come and offer Prabhupada respect, humble myself, ask for some blessing. Sometimes we just give the blessing. One time I said, Prabhupada, I'm a great fool. Then he said, yes. One time I asked someone to serve your life after life, and he said, why do you want to make me come back? If I serve life after life, then he has to come back life after life to accept my service. So I thought, well, what did I say wrong? I thought that was the right thing. I want to serve you even life after life, and if it's your desire that I come back, then it's for you. Just like you read the pastimes of the Vrajadam, Krishna's never predictable. Sometimes he's submissive, sometimes he's argumentative, sometimes he's crying, sometimes he's pulling the big mortar. Mother wouldn't expect the little baby's going to pull this gigantic mortar and knock down 2 trees. So Krishna is always unexpected, and we could get a little bit of that in Prabhupada. But what was always expected, he was always Krishna conscious. But in his personal dealings, you couldn't take him for granted. So what pastime of Lord Caitanya you can think of that shows a loving exchange? It's pretty hard to think of any that don't. Gaurnam?
I was thinking of the Panihati festival, where they had the big chip rope festival, and everyone else, something you gave everyone.
And Nityananda gave him punishment. And it was really a blessing, but in the form of a so-called punishment. They call that the Danda Mahotsav, the festival of punishment. Because he said, you're keeping away, you're not coming here, you're like a thief, so I'm going to punish you. The punishment is you have to feed all my associates. A feast, a picnic, flat rice and yogurt and fruits. No big deal for a multimillionaire to, but then thousands and thousands of people came, hundreds of thousands came. But however many came, he kept feeding them. Then Nityananda brought Lord Caitanya, and they accepted everyone as the cowherd friend. And Lord Nityananda took food from the people's bowls that they were eating from, the pots, and fed in Lord Chaitanya's mouth. And Lord Caitanya took from the pots and fed in Nityananda Prabhu's mouth. Normally, also the rules, the smarter rules, you don't eat anyone else's remnants. It's contaminated food. But because they were in the mood of cowherd boys, little boys, they don't follow those rules. Little children eat from each other's plates. So all these people were accepted as his cowherd friends. Very difficult how to understand this mood. So much ecstasy. Devotee may get we can get a few drops, maybe we can understand, feel something about this. But the non-devotees may think, just like sometimes hear the Christian preachers, they have this tendency, in Krishna consciousness we respect other religions. Because somehow they're thinking about God. That's better than nothing. So we appreciate that. We want people to think more deeply and more lovingly, have more knowledge about Supreme Lord. So ours is a positive kind of presentation, but some other religions, they use a negative preaching. Ours is the only way, every other way is bad. So this Christian was criticizing. Prabhupada wrote in the Vrindavani Bhajan, some Christian priest came to, missionary, came to Vrindavan and started preaching that your God is a thief. He steals butter. He said all these big babas with their big names and big positions, they couldn't go and defeat this missionary or challenge him or respond to him. So that proves they're all Kanishta Adhikaris. Even a Madhyama Adhikari can go and speak to them. How can God be a thief? He owns everything. They say dance with many gopis. So how other people's wife, but he's the husband of everyone. Everything belongs to him. So if it's God we're talking about, then we can't find any fault. So like that, some people, they preach in negative sense, and neophyte people, they don't know what to think about it. So if we want, so this, with the Lord Caitanya, it's so many loving exchanges. For Panihati festival, Raghunath Das gave gifts, gave prasadam. Raghunath Das, after giving the big prasad, feeding all the devotees. Then he thought also, let me give some donation. In accordance to how much responsibility a Vaishnava had, he can get some donation. So he gave some gold coins and asked him to divide it up. So maybe Nityananda got a few hundred, and others got 100, and someone got 50, and someone got 10. But even one gold coin is a lot of money in those days. But even now a gold coin, a few $100 at least. In those days it was like a fortune. So he gave everybody donation through a devotee. And he went and he revealed his mind to Lord Chaitanya, to Lord Nityananda, that I want to join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but I realize without your mercy it's not going to be possible. This is a chance in a lifetime I could be with Lord Chaitanya, and I don't want to just do all this mundane things. Wasting the time which I could spend with Lord Chaitanya, but without your mercy it's not possible. Then the Nityananda Prabhu said, you brought Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he personally came, he ate your offering, he enjoyed the festival. So many things happened. Surely now you'll be able to achieve Lord Chaitanya without difficulty. So when there was, all the exchanges were done in his pastime. Prasadam, accepting. Then also Nityananda gave him prasad. He gave his remnants. To Raghunath Das. And Raghunath Das divided it up and gave some remnants to his assistants. They all got Nityananda Mahaprasad. And he got Mahaprasad also. He gave the money donations. Lord Nityananda gave him the blessing, he'll reach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He revealed his mind. Lord Nityananda revealed his mind. So all the 6 exchanges were there. So this Mayapur festival is the festival of loving exchange. How are we going to have a loving exchange? What's your plan? You got plans? How to exchange the loving exchanges with the other Vaishnavas. Last night I was walking from the congregational program and somebody gave me a popcorn. A few days ago I was walking in the back parking lot and somebody gave me a pack of incense. Well, I didn't know what I have to give them. I just gave them a tap with my stick. Some machine oil. Today in the afternoon someone from Madurai came and gave a donation for the developing Navadvip Parikrama. 100,000 rupees. So I gave him a whole bottle of maraschino. That doesn't go on my account, that goes in the Navadip Development Trust account. But whether it's something big or something small, giving a hug, sharing some realizations, remember once Prabhupada said we are, what is the word he used? Hyper-personal? Hyper? Or was it, no, we have so many mega hyper, I was thinking it was hyper. Something like hyper, so personal, or just to the extreme we're personal. But in many of our dealings, it's not like that. We're afraid to be personal. Maybe someone doesn't accept well. If it's loving, giving in love, whether they accept it or not, we try to give our loving. Some devotees are so burdened that if you try to show any concern about them, they get doubts, like what is his motive? So I want to thank all of you for coming and climbing up all these stairs. Huh? You must be more determined. Other seminars, they have a lift. Or they're underground. But you like it up here? Maybe I should change the venue?
No, there's the place here.
Prabhupada made this flower roof garden. He used to walk up here. In the rainy season when it was muddy, we didn't have so many roads. So he'd walk. He had us put in the middle there's like a raise. So there was a step before, said no, make it a slant so we can walk and just walk. So we'd walk around and around and around. So this is a tirtha, this is blessed by the lotus dust of Prabhupada's lotus feet. Once just in that corner there was a migration of ants, all carrying their white eggs, queen ants, drones, worker ants, all marching from one hole to another. And we're all looking down, so many thousand ants. You don't know that the ants are all somehow in these gardens. And Prabhupada said, just like we're looking down at the ants, and we're thinking how insignificant they are, the demigods are looking down at us. How these human beings are so insignificant. We only live one of our years is one of their days. So we live 100 days, maybe 70 days. What animals live 70 days?
Some dogs.
Bugs. Even a snake lives longer than that, right? How long does a rat live? A mouse? We're like some little insect or something. It was like, we only live 100 days by the demigod's calculation. Not even 100, I mean maybe. That's if we lived 100 years. So human beings, they look very insignificant to the celestial residents. It's like that probably would make you think. We're just looking at the ants, you know. Actually, I wasn't thinking the ants were insignificant. I wasn't thinking anything. I was just looking, you know. Wow, there's so many ants, you know. The Prabhupada got us to think something philosophical. You take anything, you look at the moon. He said, look at, how could they have gone to the moon? From this roof, he looked at them and said, look at how bright the moon is. And they brought back some dull rock. If there's this dull rock there, why does it reflect so much light? But somebody said, Prabhupada, they say the moon is made out of blue cheese. So it's so stupid, you know. Prabhupada had an answer for that too. I can't remember what it was.
So wasn't their brain.
So any question?
Just a comment.
A comment. You're sharing your mind with us. It's a loving exchange.
You once said, and I
They won't hear you.
I heard you say in a lecture once that impersonalism doesn't come only from the Mayavadis, it comes from within us. And I find that, I think it's in Taking Shelter of Krishna where you say that we must remember, or at least you indicate this, that impersonalism doesn't come only from the Mayavadis, it can come also from within us. And I just wanted to share that I find that very useful to remember this when I'm dealing with devotees.
Any other question? Comment? Anything you want to share on the exchanges?
When Srila Prabhupada said to you, I will train you personally, what was your perception of that Prabhupada would physically guide you, or what was your response when he said that to you? I will personally train you. Jai.
Well, he did. I was one of his secretaries. I had a very small part to play being a new bhakta, but he had me, I was guru sitting. When Prabhupada took his afternoon nap, then the servants, the secretaries, to go out and do the daily shopping. But someone had to be there on call in case Prabhupada needed something. So I was the stand-in secretary. Sometimes Prabhupada called me and talked to me. Even when he left Montreal, he used to write me every week. So many letters, just a lot of letters to Jayapataka. One time I stepped on a nail, he wrote me, take care of your foot. You gave your body to Krishna, don't neglect it. He wrote to me and said, you're working too hard, take some rest. That's when I never followed your hints. I think he fulfilled his part of the deal. I don't know if I did mine. I stayed there until he sent me to the West. One time he called me and there was a cockroach in his room. So somehow he caught the cockroach and then Prabhupada took it from the back, holding the back so its legs were, kicking. Opened the window and told the cockroach, "Now you were just in this little room confined. I'm going to give you the whole world to enjoy. Enjoy." Is this a question or a sharing?
It's a question from yesterday's class. Is that okay?
I don't know. One or today's. Some people might not have been here yesterday.
So that's good if they hear that question. So can I ask it or not?
Take a vote. How many want him to ask his question from yesterday? How many not?
I don't need the microphone. It's
Can you hear him in the back?
Advaitacharya said to Nityananda that you are in the renounced order of life, so what is this? Why do you want to take all this prasadam? You're supposed to be in the renounced order of life. But Nityananda Prabhu, he was married, so how was he in the renounced order of life?
Beep, 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 beep. Lord Chaitanya had just taken sannyas. At that time Nityananda was still an avadut. He was a brahmachari, renounced person. Later he went with Lord Chaitanya to Jagannath Puri. And after being in Jagannath Puri for 6 months or a year, after Lord Chaitanya sent him back to preach in Bengal, told him to get married. Because he had taken sannyas, he didn't want to let everybody should take sannyas. So you wanted Nityananda to show the example you can preach while you're a grihasta. We appreciate grihasta preachers. So at that time Nityananda had not got married. He got the time chronology wrong.